First question I have for you, is access becoming more important than ownership?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting question, and one that I haven't spent that much time thinking about it, candidly, because I think, Pandora is really this sort of discovery-oriented, sort of serendipitous experience. It really is modeled after traditional radio, which has never been an ownership model. And then from that experience, you discover music, you go out and you either purchase music from iTunes or Amazon, or maybe you subscribe to a subscription service and you consume your music that way. And so I think of all those services being kind of complementary to what we do. It's kind of the other half of music consumption. And I think that question of kind of in the cloud, streamed to you versus something that you have more direct control over is more in that second half of the music industry than what we think about day to day. Obviously, cloud delivery of Pandora is fundamental to the way we operate.
Sure. So what do you see as Pandora's biggest competition? Is it other streaming services? Is it the radio? Is it an ownership model?
When you look at music in the United States, something I think that's missed by most people is that almost all music consumption is radio. The typical U.S. consumer listens to 16 hours of music radio a week. They listen to about 3 hours of music that they own or have on their iPad or stream from their streaming service or whatever, so on-demand music, if you like. And so, if we're going to kind of, tap into the 150 million people who enjoy music every day, I think the way you do that is by taking some of the listening hours that happen in traditional broadcast radio and shifting them over to Pandora. So yeah, I think at some level, it is a game of moving people from broadcast to personalized radio.
So what is the most popular platform for Pandora now? Is it the desktop? Is it mobile?
So there's it's about 50-50 between desktop and mobile. In fact, we've just slipped over into having more hours of listening consumed off of the PC than on. And the vast majority of off-PC listening is some kind of a mobile device. There's a big chunk of iPod Touch usage, and then there's a small but growing percentage that's consumer electronics devices. We've done probably 100 or more partnerships for televisions and Blu-ray players and tabletop radios and stereos and set-top boxes and even automobiles. We're making a really big push into automotive this year.
Okay. Now, in 2 years, what do you think the dominant platform is going to be?
Well, if you look at traditional radio consumption, about 20% of radio listening happens at work, about 30% happens at home, and about half happens in the automobile. So, I probably won't speculate on how quickly that transition will occur for Pandora, but I think, if we're really going to reimagine the world of radio, we have to be really successful in the car and we have to be really successful in the home. And those are going to all be off-PC listening experiences.
Now, what's your take on some of the mobile carriers starting to put caps on usage? Do you think that's going to be a temporary thing? Is that going to dramatically affect the way that people consume services like Pandora?
Yeah. It's been a complete non-event for us. We haven't seen, the adoption of Pandora on mobile slow at all. In fact, it's accelerated, if anything, in the same period of time. I think what people miss is that Pandora really doesn't consume very much bandwidth. There's this perception, perhaps, that it does, but relative to many other things that you do on your phone, the Pandora's data usage is really modest, and so at least for now, it seems like a non-issue.
So the last question I have for you is kind of an odd one. Do you listen to CDs or vinyl or even tapes anymore, or is it all just streaming?
It's funny. I still buy CDs. I've been collecting CDs for 25 years, and I sort of like the physical sort of nature of it. I just got back into vinyl again a couple of years ago, and I have streaming subscriptions, and of course listen to a lot of Pandora. A few months ago, there's a new album by this band, The National, which I bought on CD. It came, I fell in love with it. I'm like, this would be a great one to have on vinyl, so I bought it on vinyl. And then I got into an airplane and realized that I hadn't, ripped the CD and put it onto my iPod or my iPhone, I guess. And so before the plane took off, I bought a copy from Apple so that I'd have it while I was in the air. And I've also streamed it on 3 different subscription services and heard the tracks on Pandora. So I'm like the music industry's dream.
Yeah, right,
I guess I buy every format.
Sure, excellent. Well, thank you very much for being with us. Appreciate it.